We're about to try my first ever Burgundy Pinot, and if you were to get this bottle at a restaurant, it would set you back $1,000. But we got ours for only $250. Stick around to the end to find out how you can score your bargain like this too. For now, please enjoy Master Sommelier Carlos Santos opening this bottle like a true professional. Take note that the label is always facing us, the viewer, and that Carlos cuts below the second rim of the top of the bottle to avoid any foil breaking off near the cork or its opening. As he does with champagne, the name of the game is to not make any noise when the cork comes out. Welcome to Got Somme. You now have an idea of the bottle of wine that we're going to be drinking, but if you're like me, you have no idea what the bottle of wine is that we're drinking. That's because about 6 days ago, whatever, Carlos texted me at 7:20 p.m. and he said, we need to try and get this bottle of wine. And I was like, okay. I looked at the wine expecting to recognize the label. I didn't because I'm an idiot. And then, I think there was 226 bids or something for this bottle of wine, and we still got it at a crazy price. So stick around to the end to find out how much we paid and where we got it from. But for now, Carlos, can you please explain what we are drinking and why you are so excited about it?
Yeah, I'm actually super, super excited because this is Domaine Leroy. So it's, I would say, top 2 wines in Burgundy that everyone wants to get their hands on.
Oh, what's the other one?
One is Domaine de la Romanée-Conti, DRC.
Okay. Oh, DRC.
Famously known for DRC.
Oh, of course.
And then there's Leroy, and then there's everything else, obviously. And when I say everything else,
Yeah, it's Burgundy.
It's Burgundy.
It's phenomenal wines.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
so
maybe this is Penfolds and Hill of Grace in Australia vibes for Burgundy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
as in iconic names.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Yeah. Of course, there's many others, but yeah, that's exactly how probably you could put it. So yeah, Domaine Leroy. I mean, it's super, super sought after. Even though this is a Bourgogne Rouge, so it's that kind of entry level, if you like. Anything from here is astronomical prices. But then again, 2014, a little bit of age I'm super excited.
Yeah, I know you are. To give someone to give some reference, we've drank some nice wines today. We've recorded a couple of episodes today, and then we wrapped up our last one, and Carlos went, this is, let's get this open. I was like, whoa, I mean, we haven't even had lunch and Carlos is biting, at the chance to get this in. So you're the Master Sommelier. I'll let you serve it into our glasses. But we're having Burgundy Pinot. I mean, there's never a bad day when you've got Burgundy Pinot, right? Absolutely. Carlos says it's looking great. All right, so Carlos, how do you want to assess this? I'm going to follow your lead. You're the one who's like a child at Christmas.
It's a very, very historical state to start with. They take back to like 1830s, etc. And the hands have been passed on, but always in the family to this day, which is Madame Lalou Bize-Leroy. That's the full name. So she's still like 89, and she's still so influential on everything they do, all biodynamic since very, very early days. She basically inherited the estate in like 1980s or something from her dad, and she's just been incredibly influential. And then again, I think it's more because of the fact that you don't see them very often, because everything they produce is out of really, really tiny parcels of each of the vineyards, primarily Grand Cru and Premier Cru. Of Bourgogne Rouge, I think they produce about 4 point something hectares. That's across the region of Burgundy. That's where this wine comes from. So it's not a specific village, etc., etc. Depends what they want to do with it, but it's overall, of course, a generic appellation of Burgundy.
Yeah,
correct.
Not to downplay the fact that we have essentially, a $600 bottle of wine in front of us.
Exactly.
Tell me, that's just wild to think of an entry-level wine for a winemaker to be $600. What's above this?
They have 3 properties or 3 places where they actually are located, if you like. So they have Auxier-Durès, Domaine Leroy. They have in Von Romanée another property, and then they have as well in Saint-Romain, Domaine d'Auvenay. So that's probably their top. No, that's actually their top like league.
Yeah.
And if you have a bottle of a Grand Cru from Domaine d'Auvenay, that's like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 bottle.
Wow.
And then from Domaine Leroy, if you have Village, Premier Cru, it's already double the price. So this is a generic Bourgogne. So this comes from anywhere around the regions I was saying. So there's like 1,500 hectares of vineyard in the whole region of Burgundy that are considered for Burgundy Rouge. And there's less than half of that for white Bourgogne. So there's like 850 or something, Bourgogne Blanc. Bourgogne Rouge, as I was saying, is just under 1,600 hectares. So this makes 4 hectares for the house of Leroy. And then Premier Cru and Grand Cru, of course, when it comes to that is incredibly expensive. Even just if you go to a village, if you have a Leroy, Von Romanée, Leroy, Givry-Chametin, whatever, that's already double or triple the price of this. So this is like $600. I mean, it's already crazy, right? To think about it.
Where can we try it?
Yeah.
Let's assess it. I mean, obviously we'll look at the color, and I'll put there'll be a social video around the color and all of that stuff on the YouTube. Obviously you're seeing this as we go live, but talk us through what we should be expecting.
Well, I think even, maybe even before touching on that, I think is, just the philosophy of this lady, and she used to own, I mean, we touch a little bit on DRC. So she used to own, I think, close to half of the shares for the DRC. But then, of course, in 1991, Aubert de Villaine, which is another, DRC other part.
Yep.
So he I think they got into a little bit of a fight because obviously she was getting one of the most important states in Burgundy, which is Domaine Leroy. And I think things got a little bit shaken up, and she was taken off the co-director position, which would only make sense because she only owns now 25% of the RC. But again, 25% of the RC.
What are the hundreds of millions of dollars?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. So that's her, 89 years old, still involved. They used to have like horses plowing the vineyards, but then again, local farmers, etc., they never have the horses ready on time, so she find a way to make that work in a vineyard. Again, all biodynamic. It's just incredibly intense, the work every single day in these vineyards, and you feel that in the glass. You first of all, you can see in the color, this 2014, how depth is dark. This is dark.
And this is Pinot, right?
This is a dark Pinot Noir, yeah. But that's typically Leroy. Leroy, it's dense, concentrated, is rich, is powerful, is intense. And you see that straight from the color. Yeah.
On the nose, so much complexity to it. There is a tertiary aromas to it. Look at Carlos is smiling. The tertiary aromas are there as well, but you can still smell that beautiful bright fruit coming through. And it for a Pinot, and I'm wrong, but is there dark fruit in this though?
A little bit of dark fruit, yeah. Definitely. A little bit of dark fruit.
Like nice sweet fruit, like the blueberries, not like the blackberries and stuff, like the lighter blue fruits, but there's this...
They're not fresh though. There's nothing super fresh about it. They like, dry berries, a lot of forest floor, a lot of dried leaf, mushroom, a little smoke, a little even touch of tar, but that's all Leroy, I think. Concentration, depth, ripeness, even though 2014 was challenging vintage all year round. Ale in spring, June, July, whatever that was, and then some good days, and then showers, rain, etc. And then I think they had a finer summer
This is 2014?
2014.
Yeah.
And then a finer summer, which allowed for some producers to make some good wine, but it wasn't as easy for everyone. But that's Burgundy these days. It's been a challenge every single year. 2015 seems to be a warmer year, and in Burgundy was a little bit stronger. And she decided to release 15 before the 14, so she kept 14 another year.
Oh,
To then just release it a little bit later.
oh wow.
That's probably why we're having it, now.
2023, but also that's quality control.
Mm,
Wow. Can we try it on the palate?
absolutely. Fine, it's silky, it's
Yeah,
elegant.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Like that chicken stock, earthy, meaty,
Mm.
super elegant.
God, there is this idea that everything is so well integrated and balanced.
Hmm.
The tannins aren't on my face. The acid is there. Like I can feel it building, but it's not, front of mouth and mind.
Yeah.
What is it about Burgundy? Is it the age of the vines? Is it the conditions? Is it the terroir? What is it about it that just makes it so well known for Pinot? Because this is, and it's even growing on me.
Think about
The finish was so long. It just
Yeah.
finished then.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a sip, you last forever. But so delicate at the same time. It's power, but delicate. Power and fine is incredible. I mean, with Burgundy, if you think about these hundreds and hundreds of years of history of planting and replanting and choosing sites, and everything is so broken down, in the region, like the monks, Cistercians, and then Nasturtians, whatever, like they planted, replanted these vineyards. They know exactly which raw will produce what, which soil will produce what, and that's the thing. When you look at Burgundy, it's one of the most crazy. I think it's probably the hardest wine region in the world to study, because there's so many parcels, so many villages, so many vineyards, so many producers. So there's, for some vineyards, there are 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 producers that out of, one plot of land, each own 2 or 3 rows. That's crazy, so everyone will have a different style, even though they're right next to each other. What they're gonna harvest, what they're gonna bring to the winery will be so different. Which type of oak they're gonna use, at what temperature, fermentation, etc. Naturalist, no naturalist, whatever. Everything will just make it so different, and that's Burgundy. That's why Burgundy is so intriguing and so passionating at the same time. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Burgundy, it's when you look at the vineyard, when you drive from north to south. So basically, when you drive north to south, and you on your left, you have what is just farmland. There's a little bit of vineyards here and there, but they are literally worth little to nothing. And then on the right hand side, that's where you cross through all the villages, and that's crazy, because as you drive on the national road, on the right hand side, you have everything is completely peppered with vineyard, and every single piece of land is worth a lot. So of course, as you are closer to the land, you have now the generic Bourgogne. So that's where you find the generic Bourgogne. And then as you closer, and then you see a little village just far away. That village may be Von Romanée, for example. And of course, as you go closer to the village, the vineyards around it will be labeled as Von Romanée. And then within Von Romanée, within the village, the whole village of Von Romanée, which you can label a wine named Von Romanée. And if this was a Leroy, Von Romanée would probably be like $1,200, $1,500, rather than $600 for the more generic Bourgogne. Then within that village, you have Premier Cru. And that's surrounding a little patch surrounding, say, the Grand Crus. But that patch will be 3 times the price. And that is your, Auréat, Combotte, etc., Richebourg. Richebourg is already Grand Cru. But this will be your Premier Cru land. So much more defined. And instead of being flat land, it's a slight slope. And of course, these soils have a better exposure. They are, of course, more looked after, etc., because they are worth way more. And then you drive a little bit further, and then you have the Grand Cru patch. And when you are in this patch, you are facing the most expensive Pinot Noir in the world. And then it's crazy. Like they surrounded, it's insane. Like the distance between me and you, it doesn't take as far as me and you, in fact, to move from one vineyard to the other. Let's say that you are on the patch of Romanée-Conti.
Oh, thank you.
Half the space between you and me will be Richebourg or Romanée-Saint-Vivant or La Tâche or whatever. So less than half the space.
But I would have thought they'd be
like 20
ages
centimeters
away, like competitors.
Nothing.
Wow.
20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, 50 centimeters is the space between one vineyard
So what
and the other.
differentiates the...
It's what I'm saying is the soils, is the exposure, it's the hands
Minute
moving these
differences,
vineyards over the years, over centuries, that have moved the vineyard exposure from this side to this side to this side, etc. With this soil, more limestone, more clay, more sandy, etc. And they just know what grows best in these patches of land because it's centuries of
I was going to say it's being passed down through centuries. Yeah,
exactly. So that's
generation to generation.
That's Burgundy. That is Burgundy. And then straight when you move from that, more slightly inclined slope, which is the absolute sweet spot for the Grand Crus, the most expensive Pinot Noir in the world. Again, the Romanée-Saint-Vivant, the La Tâche, the Richebourg, etc. Then you move a little bit further up the slope. Then is already too much of a slope. That will be again Premier Cru. And then you go onto the mountain. That is already not good. That will be just Village Von Romanée. And you go a little bit further up. That's just Bourgogne Rouge. And that's from the road, you can see all this mountain to there. And you can drive up to the mountain. And when you are in a mountain, you can see where Von Romanée is the village and the vineyards.
Security guards
crazy.
on like the fence lines?
No, you can just walk through, actually.
Jesus.
So, they actually had issues many years ago.
Just jumping over and trying some grapes.
Yeah, some people actually was ripping some vines off.
No, it wasn't going that far.
That's bad, yeah.
Oh, of course.
That happens a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something special. And for those of you who are sticking around to find out how we did it, we are sponsored by Graze, graze.com. But it's one of our favorite stories about how we ended up working with Graze. Season 2, episode 1. So back in January, we released an episode. I bought, with our own money, 4 bottles of Wineries, which is Carlos's favorite Australian winemaker, to surprise him with this flight and vertical of different wines from Wineries. I bought them at a much discount at auction through Graze. I then sent them the episode and I was like, hey, we're using you guys, but how do we get this bottle? We used our own money, but we did buy them off graze.com. Carlos texted me and said, check out this wine. It's still at a bargain price, even though there's been so many bids. So we bought this bottle for $350. We actually bought 3 bottles for about $1,050 total. That's with GST and the inclusiveness of Graze take. And that ended up being a total cost of $350 each. We then on-sold a couple of the bottles, made a tiny little bit of money to get back. So in the end, we are drinking this for $250. And it's a $600 bottle of wine all day. We went on Langton's. They were $5.99, sold out. You can't get them anymore. So the 2014 vintage specifically, we're pretty stoked to be able to drink this at $250.
Yeah, and the thing is, the more the time goes, if you have kept this bottle closed in another 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, when it will just, the price will keep.
Yeah.
This is the type. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I was actually impressed. There were not many Burgundies in the auction. But this was one of those, and that's good on Grace.
And I put on, do you know what the funny thing was? I put up a post saying when it arrived, me opening up the box and showing the 3 bottles, and there's 2 people who replied going, I was bidding on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, we ended up getting it at a bargain. Obviously, $350 is not a bargain, but when you've got a wine podcast, like that's just the cost of business. So
100%.
To be able to hear the passion from you about Burgundy and Pinot, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually don't even know if I've ever had a Burgundy Pinot before in my life. I don't think I ever have. I can't think of it, and I would remember it. I love wine. I don't think I've ever had a Burgundy Pinot.
There we go. You're starting with the absolute top.
Because this is $600 retail. If you got this in a restaurant, What are you putting, 1,000?
Yeah, it would be probably six.
Really?
$900,000. Yeah, I mean, and again, every year you would put another $200.
Oh, the longer the vintage goes.
Of course, the longer, the more age it gets, you have to, the cost of cellaring.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not just the cost of cellaring, which that means little to nothing when you were in a restaurant. But it's more so the fact that is a wine that you just can't get.
Yeah.
You just can't get it. You see that 2014 Bourgogne is out of stock anywhere. Good luck. Good luck trying to find another 3 bottles of that.
Exactly.
Until someone decides to, another restaurant or another private collector decides to get rid of another 3 bottles, which will happen, of course.
So very cool. We've got a link below to Grays. Once again, we are sponsored as a podcast, but it is an organic sponsorship because we actually do buy the wine and drink the wine. So really cool to have my first ever Burgundy on this podcast, to have a master sommelier explain to me, the intricacies of the wine. Thank you, man. And this is a special one, mate. So
very special.
From drinking $20 bottles of wine last year.
Oh my God! For the first time, I finished my wine before you.
Yeah, and I had a second glass.
That's why.
Sorry, I bought a second glass.
That's why the bottle is almost gone.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's power. It's not a baby Burgundy, even though it's
a baby Burgundy.
Now imagine this with another 5 years, and you imagine this on a Premier Cru or a Grand Cru.
Yeah, fire. Hope you enjoyed the episode.